So I wanted to read a little bit of what Karl Jaspers says in his philosophical memoirs about the meaning of faith in relation to both religion and philosophy. So uh, Jaspers writes, I always recover the self-confidence of philosophy as the cause and the idea of the university. In its modern form, this institution, the university, is the transformation of a theologically guided knowledge into the independent will to know, a will whose meaning is not the rule of a specific philosophy, but the living presence of philosophizing throughout the whole. The university, as such, is no longer Christian, much less sectarian. Its import would not be lost, but would be broadened, rather, if its theological faculty had several departments, with believers teaching the biblical, Catholic, Protestant, and Jewish, and the Buddhist forms of faith. Faith can guide human cognition in one of two ways, either in a particular historic way, as theologically communicated by the religions, or, in view of those other, alien, constrained possibilities, by way of original philosophizing. The polarity of religion and philosophy is part of the university. A philosophy which is complementary, not necessarily hostile to religion, is at the same time the possible basis of life for a majority of students. Today we must reckon with the great mass of a denominationally non-believing youth. For this youth, whether or not we deplore the fact, philosophy is the only illumination of its possible faith, the way of thinking which can make this youth aware of the ties it recognizes without qualification. This philosophical guidance can be clarified. It differs in character from the dogmatic guidance of the theologies. In philosophizing, everyone is referred to himself. There are no human guides analogous to the priesthood. Doctrine provides opportunity, but no certainty. There are no sacred writings, only the great philosophical traditions of thousands of years, in the West, in India, and in China. Science, in the narrower sense, is a means and a field for both philosophy and theology, but its primary relation to philosophy is closer, for philosophy alone understands and wants a boundless, all-sided science. It has always stood ready to justify and protect quote-unquote modern science against anti-scientific forces. Often, to be sure, philosophy has misunderstood itself, either identifying itself with this modern science, or in recent centuries posing as another science. To bring it back from this decay to its pure and clear essence is a task of the present. The philosopher is not a prophet. He does not set himself up as a model, but he represents humanity in its frequently erring ways. He wants to recall, to convey, to urge, to appeal. He does not demand to be followed. Rather, if he succeeds, this will allows others to come to themselves. He does not own the truth, but lives seriously, searching in time. The philosophical university is the realm of endlessly advancing cognition. The various premises of thinking out of a multiplicity of faiths meet there in mutual perception, to query and doubt one another. Their common basis is an encompassing faith which nobody can call his own in definite form. Faith in the road of truth, on which all honest seekers for truth can meet. They keep an open mind and do not segregate themselves. Other forms of faith are not excluded. Indeed, to do so is regarded as the mark of untrue faith. This realm of the university provides every opportunity for specialized scientific research. Its covering, pervading spiritual life is lived in the tug of war between theology and philosophy. So, Jaspers is here describing philosophical faith, and unlike religious faith, it's not a belief in a specific dogma. Rather, philosophical faith is your coming to realize the radical freedom which you possess. And one of the consequences of this radical freedom is that you have to Um, you have to have a certain degree of affirmation about life in order to know something about that life. Um, because life is a possibility which you must actualize. And so faith, in this sense, is um, a certain quality one possesses, a certain way of relating to the world. Um, it's a certain way of affirming our experience, a leap into the unknown, a trust in the unknown, um, which is what allows you to really walk down what Jaspers is calling the path of truth. You must trust that the truth is there and that you can come to know it, and you must actively seek it. So faith, in the philosophical sense, um, is an activity. It's something you continually have to do. While in the religious sense, it's belief in a specific dogma, a specific proposition about the nature of an event in history or of whatever theological dogmas they may be. Uh, it's really belief. Faith, in the sense in which I'm using it here, in which Jaspers is using it, in which I was using it in my prior video, um, is a certain quality of our attitude towards life. A faithful person is one who affirms life, who relates to it in an open way, and is not already decided about its nature due to some specific set of beliefs which one has ingrained and refused to allow their mind to budge from. Um, so hopefully that clarifies what I was intending to mean by this word faith, and saying we require it if we expect to have any knowledge uh, about the world.